A few weeks ago, I was calling a Rabbi Noach, Oelbaum Shiurai Torah, and I dialed many numbers of Rabbanim by heart because I did them and many times I dialed without looking at the numbers, and by mistake I dialed somebody else and I say, "Hello, is this Rav Oelbaum?" So he said, "No, but I recognize your voice," because he hears the Shurim, some source of Kolosh on one of those phone lines. So he says, "I'm not Rabbi Oelbaum, but Rabbi Oelbaum Shiurai." Whenever he speaks, Flam Fire Torah, Zizkeit, Mesikis Torah, I tell him, "When do you hear the Shurim?" So he tells me, "Who are you?" So this is by mistake, but it was like 2 weeks ago. So he tells me, I live in Williamsburg, and I hear Kol Haloshem through the Shurim every single day. And every day from my whole class of Talmidim, I tell them what I heard yesterday. Is it halacha shaylis? Is it ashkafas? Is it stories? And the whole chiyus, not only of me, but my whole class, is from the Shurim that you give constantly. So, man, I just want to tell you, it was Hashgacha Pratis that he called me by mistake when I was dialing Rabbi Noach Oelbaum. But I had a note here, the Baruch Hashem, everybody has a note from Rabbi Noach Oelbaum Shlita. I have the opportunity to call Rabbi Oelbaum to give us Divrei Chizuk.
First, I'd like to apologize for the quality of my voice this evening. A little bit under the weather. We'll do the best we can. B'shut Merodam Rabbanim V'Rabboisai, V'lebatim Chashuvim, Moikira Torah, Choyve V'Torah, Loim De Torah, Machzik Torah, I hope. Moirav V'Rabboisai. A number of years ago, the Sadiger Rebbe Shlita Shirav Refuah Shalayim mentioned at one of the Aguda conventions. He said that his great-grandfather, the Rizhiner Rebbe, had two brothers came to him. They bought a house b'shutfis, living together, and they found out that there is a tzvayos to Rabbi Yehuda HaChosid that says it is a sakona for two brothers to actually live together in the same house. But they bought the house already. What do we do? And the Rebbe answered and he says, "I'm going to write a kameya, and therefore you're going to have shmira. Just hold on to it, and you don't have to worry about anything." This is what they did. This went on for many, many years. Finally, after the Rebbe was nifter, a number of years, the two brothers were very curious to find out what kind of a shemus did the Heilige Rishon did he write in that kameya. But of course, they did not have the courage to open it up, so they went to one of the Rizhiner Einiglich to ask him, possibly open up the Kameya to find out what the Rebbe wrote. And he opened it up, and he saw the Rebbe wrote the following: No problem. It's a gewaldige thing when you see brothers living together. Standing here and looking a little bit at the Oelbaum, about it, we can certainly echo the same words. Hine ma toiv v'manoim shevesachim gam yochad. Hine ma toiv. Take a look how great is the toiv v'Torah. Ein toiv el Torah. Why? Because shevesachim gam yochad, that is one of the gewaldige koiches of Torah, to bring all the Yidden together. And as Rabbi David Kviyat Zerchoin Avrocher Rishashiv in Mir once pointed out, the Gemara says in Bovikamad of Samachvov, regarding an Esnan Zoyne you're not allowed to use as a carbon, that which is given a matona. Under such circumstances, what happens if you gave her chitim, you gave her wheat, and she grinded it and turned it into flour, she was mishane. Are you allowed to bring the chayfet that was nishtane for a carbon? Sebe Shammai, Toyavis Hashem gam sheneim, gam l'rabbi shenuyayim. Sir David Kviyat, very beautifully. Hinem ha'toivim ha'noim. Sheves Achim, it's a gewaldige thing when you see brothers. Gam yachad, gam l'rabbi shenuyayim. Even though they're not all the same. Stefana Chasidim, Nishkan Chasidim, Azoche Yidden, Tamir Chachomim, Balabatim, Nadvunim, Machzike Teure, Lomde Teure. Then alle kreisen. And they all come together. when you have Gamel Rabbi Shinayim and you see that Yidden, those different do not stand in the way. That is what David HaMelech is referring to. That is so beautiful and that is so wonderful. The truth is, Rabbi say that every generation has its own nisyonis. Some tekufas had nisyonis of Shmir Shabbos. Everybody's aware that here in America in the early years, one of the greatest nisyonis of being an Elech Yid was to be a Shmir Shabbos. It was not an uncommon thing that Yid would go Shabbos to shul, stay until after Musaf, and then run off to work. This was the situation. This was the Nisayan. And it was those Yidden who were Motzei Nefesh for Shmir Shabbos, by the way, those pioneers, Bemis, we have to have an Akar Satoy for them because they blazed the trail to show it's Shaykh or Mevil Takim, Kemizana Shmir Shabbos, I feel in America. That was that Kufa. Baruch Hashem, today we don't have those Nisyonis. A Yid who wants to be a Shmir Shabbos can certainly be a Shmir Shabbos. There was the Kufas Rabbi Sai where there's Nisyonis in Kashrus. Take a look in the Agdama, the Chuvas Ritbaz. Rabbi Yankiv David Ritbaz, the Mechaber the Rishalmi. Rabbi Yitzchak Chonon, Rabbi Sai, was tremendously despoiled from the Goynis of the Ritbaz, who came from Slutsk. It's not only Rishalmi, Rabbi Sai, the Persian Rishalmi was a book in Bavli word for word. Tremendous Goyin, tremendous genius. To my knowledge, Reb Shol Brach, the Kashuruv, took a haskoma in one of his Sforim, Shoel, took a haskoma from the Ritbaz, and he writes, I was zoichet to receive a haskoma from a Goyin, Rabban Shokol B'nei HaGoyel the Ritbaz. Tremendous kenoi, he was also a Shemitah. Before the Chazon Ish, he was a tremendous kenoi fighting being loichem for Shemitah in Eretz Yisrael Keil Chosoi. Look in the Akdama, the Chuvas Ritbaz, you find out that he was a Rav in Chicago for a while. And among the different things that he had to fight with the community was kashrus. The katzovim, the butchers at that time, literally were machal nevelas etrifis. However, they spoke Yiddish. So many people were taken in by the fact that the butchers were able to speak Yiddish. Maybe that's a simon that the meat is kosher. Right, Radbaz in Azuk Tazoi. Sei meinen, weil heißt Mendel kämen essen von sein Fendel. So schreibt Radbaz. That's what they think. Radbaz threw up his hands. He saw that he cannot influence them, and he left. Yaakov Yosef, the Rav HaKoil in America, gave his life for kashrus, fighting the butchers, fighting the unions. It shortened his life. Those nisyonis Baruch Hashem today we don't have. There were the Kufas, there were the nisyonis Rabbi Sai regarding Taras HaMishpocha. Here again, shortage of mikvahs, Baruch Hashem we don't have it because even in other places in the United States we have organizations, whether it's called Mikveh USA, whatever it should be. A kehillah that really wants to have a mikveh, sooner or later they're going to have to have a mikveh. So we don't have those nisyonis again. However, this generation, Rabbi Sai, has its own nisyoin. More than 60 years ago, the Belzeruv gesucht für sein Jutzad is jetzt. The nisyoin of our day, over 60 years ago, it said, is chinuch habonim. Mechanech zan kinder. And the same thing Rabbi Sai was said from the other cheder of the other world, the Chazon Ish. 60 years ago and more and over. The nisyoin of our day today is chinuch habonim. And the Chazon Ish pointed out that the Yetzer Hara, he says, persuades parents to learn with the chavrusa, abinish lernen mit kan kinder. Learn longer with the chavrusa. Take another day. Take another hour. Not only that, said the Chazon Ish, Yetzer Hara persuades fathers to learn any mesechta, abi not the mesechta that the children are learning. He should not be able to give time for the children. The soin as man, moiridik. Do we ask ourselves, Rabbi Sai, what do you say of chinuch? Children will be asking, what is the meaning of your avodah? The pasuk says, and the people bowed down. When they heard, why did they bow down? What does the Rashi say? Al besuras abonim. Because they find out there's going to be children in Klal Yisrael. V'hoyu ki yoim lechem benechem. Oh, benechem, ze zan kinder. Oh, ze zan kinder in Klal Yisrael. Vayikedom v'yishtarvu. So says Rashi. The Vayikedom v'yishtarvu, thanking the Rebbeinu Shloim that there are children in Klal Yisrael. Freit Rav Shach. And by the way, take a look at the Sefer Aviyezri of the many Sforim of Rav Shach on the Chelik and the Rambam, which deals with the Mishpatim, the Zikin, where he has over there as coming from the Brisker of Tofshi and Tezayin, many, many years ago. And the Brisker of writes, and you have to realize the Brisker of is Megazim Gewein. The Brisker of writes to Rav Shach the following: Kavoid Hadar Goinoi, Einet Tzorech Laskome Loyle Dedi Veloyle Dachvosi. Someone like yourself does not need an askoma from me. Ki kvar pekia shemei ke echod migdoyle doireinu. Tofshin tezai. Nobody knew from him. Nobody heard of Rav Shach at that time. Very few. Writes Rav Shach, Rav Shach asks, Besuris Abonim, was there a shortage of children in Mitzrayim? Matter of fact, in Mitzrayim, there never was a tkufa Rabboisai of Ribu Ibonim as there was in Mitzrayim. Every woman gave birth, Shisha Bekeres Echad. And as the Pasuk says very clearly, the more that they were enslaved, the more children were born. There was not a shortage of children. What does it mean? Al Besuras Abonim V'Ikadom Ve'Ishtarvu. Said Rav Shach, if you observe life today, how parents are raising children, so Rav Shach, you find out it's not fathers giving birth to sons. It's fathers giving birth to fathers. Because the sons are not interested in being mekabel anything of their fathers. They decided to chart their own course and to go their own way. Now, maybe you have a father giving birth to a child, but that child is as if he's a father on his own. He has no interest to follow in the drachim of his own father. The definition of a ben, says Rav Shach, is who wants to be mekabel from his father. He wants to be mamshech the Messiah. He wants to continue that Messiah. And therefore, when children will show interest, explain to me, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? If children are showing genuine interest, that they want to understand what the parents are doing, they want to relate to what the father is doing, they want to be able possibly to be mamshech, that is vayikadom ve'ishtavel besuras abonim. That's what bonim means. Stam to have children, that's not bonim. Fathers can give birth to fathers instead of giving fathers giving birth to sons. But now we find out al besuras abonim, when children, in fact, tate fus tistazoi, sei me mazber, fus the pshat de mitze, fus 40 yidazoi na zoi vate. That is the pshat of a ben. And that was Klal Yisrael heard. The Panovich Rav Rabbi Sai once said the following. He gave the following definition. What is the difference between a Yosem and a Doir Yosem? The Panovich Rav said very beautifully. A Yosem, he said, is a child without a father. A Doir Yosem, he says, is a generation without children. So Baruch Hashem, that was the Besurat Tov of Klal Yisrael. There will be bonim. The problem of the situation is, as a Rav of a Kehillah, and many Rabbanim see the same thing, and even if you don't, even if you're not a Rav, but the fact that what we find today, we can see how many parents are struggling with the chinuch of their children. I know personally of situations where parents found out that a child of theirs, 16-year-old boy, 70-year-old boy, was coming out of a car on Shabbos. A neighbor saw and related to the parents. Another thing, much more serious situation. I don't want to get into the area of drugs and so on. But partial situations where tremendously parents of the most beautiful homes are struggling with children. Is there one reason, Rabbi Sai? There is no one reason. There are many reasons. And many families can have different reasons. You could have a family, have many children. Some are gewaldig, the same chinuch, Rabbi Sai, and some are not so gewaldig. But maybe there's one situation that one can put their finger on, where that definitely is a problem. It was Rabbi Say 1923 in Misporah. The great Rosh Yeshiva Moshe Mordechai Epstein, the Mechaber the Shalos Tshuvis, Levush Mordechai, and also the Svarim on very Masechtas Hashas. Levush Mordechai was the Rosh Yeshiva in Slobodka. And Agave might say, maybe what distinguishes the Shiurim of Rabbi Mordechai Epstein, by the way, was a brother-in-law of Rabbi Zalman Meltzer. What distinguishes him is that the Chidushim of that Sefer has a Gevaldige Hekev, which means if he says a Shir on a blot, and he's Mechadish his Svar on the blot, you find out was able to show many places in Shas where that Svar emphasized many, many different kashas, and he brings in all the related areas. It's a Sefer basically if you have a Shir in a certain sugya, you all of a sudden become connected to many areas in Shas. That is the type of the style of the Sefer of Mordechai. He was in America in 1923 because he was raising money to open up a branch in Eretz Yisrael. We know the Chevron Yeshiva. We know about that. In a short time that he was here in America, he was able to get a sense a little bit of the Jewish community because he spent time here in America. There were many parliament meetings, fundraising meetings, and so on. And he had a gefil and hagosha about the level of religious observance and regarding the Nadvonim and so on and so forth. When he came to Eretz Yisrael, he was asked, Rosh Yeshiva, what were your impressions about the Yidden in America? What were your impressions about the Yidden in America? And his answer was a classical answer. And he said, Yidden in America know how to make Kiddush, but they don't know how to make Havdalah. They know how to make Kiddush, Rabbi Isai. Yes, they are Machzikei Torah. They have an appreciation for Torah. Some are even Talmidei Chachamim. Some even have a shir, the Kavei Itim LeTorah, and so on. But the problem is they don't have the wisdom to separate themselves from the American culture. They become influenced. What's American culture's entertainment there becomes entertainment in their house. The whole lifestyle, Rabbi Isai, becomes permeated and becomes increased and becomes absorbed by what's happening outside on the street. Yes, I see a lot of the union of making Kiddush. A lot of it supporting Torah. With all the madregas, he said, that we find in the positive sense, Kiddush machen ze. But they don't know how to make Havdalah. And I think that today, Baruch Hashem, Tov Shinayin Tes, as we're standing here, I think that today, things have not changed very much. A little bit. Which means that today, in spite of the fact with thousands and tens of thousands of our children learning in yeshivas and in koilelim, with all the Beis Yankivs and everything that we have, it means we have only learned how to make Kiddush better. We're making better Kiddush. But the area of Dollar Rabbeisa still is lagging far behind. And I have to tell you that the great Rosh Yeshiva, Goyen and Moshe Shmuel Shapiro, Rosh Yeshiva Ber Yankiv, one of the Choshev Talmidim of the Brisker Rav, once related the following. The Brisker Rav, who had health issues, would from time to time go to visit Switzerland, breathe in the fresh, crispy air, mountain air. There was a Choshev Yid over there in Switzerland who came to the Brisker Rav and said, Rebbe Chabashale, I'm here for many years. I support all the institutions. As a matter of fact, everything is on my shoulders. All these years I'm doing it, and I'm happy with what I've done. But I'm planning, he says, to go to Eretz Yisrael, leave Switzerland. What does the Rebbe think? Should I leave here and go to Eretz Yisrael? Should I stay? I need advice. And the Rizkrov said the following. He said, listen, you still have young children. You still have young children, so therefore he says, remain in Chutz La'aretz. You know why? Because in Chutz La'aretz, the Shtib is mechanech, and Eretz Yisrael, the gas is mechanech. This is what he said many years ago. If it changed today or not, you have to decide. The reason, quite simply, because when Yid is in Eretz Yisrael, therefore he feels he's surrounded after all. He's not on guard. He does not feel threatened by even all the negativity that he may be surrounded with. Every dollar is medrash and so on. But in Chutz La'aretz, he knows if he's not going to do it, if he's not going to generate Kedusha in the bayis, it's not going to be. So in Chutz La'aretz, what to do to the Shtib Mechanech, the bayis is Mechanech. But as he said, the gas is Mechanech. Moirav Rabbi Isai, today, in the world of modern technology, I'm afraid that the bayis may no longer be Mechanech, because it brings the gas into the bayis. So what do you have to bias? We are lacking still today desperately in the area of Havdalah. The secular influences of the street brought into the house. Media, reading material, materialism, extravagant simchas. Yes, and about advanced modern technology, it all destroys the Kedushas Habayis. So we have learned to make Kiddush better, yes, gewaldig, beautiful Estroigim, hoiche stramlich, ze kamush gewinn as azach, gewaldig. But the area of Dollar Rabbi is still lacking. But I want to tell you, there's some good news out there on the horizon. It might have been mentioned, but the Gemara says in Shabbos, Kuf Lamed Ches. The Gemara says, Ton Rabbonon, Kishenechnus Rabbi Sein Keren B'Yavne. He said when our rabbis came into Keren B'Yavne, so Omro, they said, Asir Torah Yishtachem Yisrael. What a report. How do we live with that? They said, Asir Torah Yishtachem Yisrael, they brought a posik, Vishlachti Rav B'Ores, Rav L'Lechem, L'Tzom L'Mayim, Kin L'Shmoyez Divra Hashem. Yeshoyta to Levakesh, they will go, Rabbi Sai. They'll wander to seek the word of Hashem. They won't be able to find it. And then we have Tanya, Reb Shimon Yechoy Omer, Chazav Yisholem Shedishtakech Torah Yisrael. Rabbi Sai, how do we understand the difference of opinion? Min hakotze lakotze. Chachme Yisrael, Rabbi Sai, Tanoim HaKdoshim, Kedosh Elyon, Asida Torah Shedishtakech Yisrael. They also had to know what they're talking about. Asida Torah Shedishtakech Yisrael. And Reb Shimon Yechoy comes along and he says, Chaz v'sholem tishtachech Torah miYisrael. Hagoyin Nosek Ishtetron, as the Choyin of Roch used to come to us, come out every year from Eretz Yisrael. And he pointed out and he said it over Nifle. The Chacham of Yisrael saw the Yeridis HaDoiris already then. I mean that they saw the Yeridis HaDoir Rabbi Sai. They saw if this continues on and on and on, the Yerida will be, Rabbi Sai, so low that it's not shaykh that Torah should be able to survive. In other words, they calculated the matziv by observing then. They already saw then the Yeridis HaDoiris. And Mamela, they said to themselves, if this continues the way it is, it's impossible that Torah should exist in Klal Yisrael. Comes Reb Shimon Yechoy. Shimon Yechoy had the koyach of Yediyah Sisra HaTorah, the Mechaber the Zohar HaKodesh. And therefore he says, my dear friends, Chacham Yisrael, I want to tell you something. What you are saying that Asir Torah should Ishtachem Yisrael, listen, Rabbi Yisai, Dov Nifle. That is B'derech HaTeva. B'derech HaTeva, you are right. It's not shaykh that Torah should be able to survive in this type of atmospheres. In the situation where Torah, Rabbi Yisai, falls. Torah Menachas Bekeren Zovius. But Derech HaTeva, you're right. But I, Reb Shimon Yechoy, are telling you that survival of Torah is not B'derech HaTeva. And cannot be explained in natural terms. The Chachamim were right. They were right. B'derech HaTeva, it's not shaykh. Asi the Torah Shechachem Yisrael. Reb Shimon Yechoy comes in his Megala that survival of Torah is not, Rabbi, according to the natural disciplines of this world. And therefore, in spite of all the Yeridis HaDoiris and the tremendous challenges in raising our children, we should never despair, never give up. Because it's not according to the natural order. As a Bekiva Seifer, the Bishpah Gerufet Amul gesucht. Zechor Yemai Soilam. Just go back in history. Binu Shenoyis Doi V'Dor. And observe the shinuyim of every generation. Binu Shenoyis Doi V'Dor. Take a look. Take a look how you have the Yeridis HaDoiris. But at the same time, there is Avtocha to recognize that in fact, the Torah is Lamalam and Derech HaTeva. That's the koich of Survival HaTorah. I think my Rabbi Sai, Irgun Shiurai Torah beside the Shemaya, certainly is a key element that guarantees L'tishtakech Torah miYisrael. I believe that never before have we seen our Botzah Torah on such a global scale. Even Dayenu Rabbi Sai locally, what's happening in New York. Dayenu, such a tremendous mess. It's a tremendous gewaltige Botzah Torah. but it's on a global scale, thousands of people, locations around the world benefiting from these shiurim. Shiurim are taking place all year round, summer, winter, whether it's day or night, many times a day in different locations. Rabbi Isai is not just a marbitz Torah, if I may say, he's mechadish chidushim in our botzes HaTorah. Mechadish chidushim in our botzes HaTorah. Rabbi Chober Weissmadel, there was a big nadvan for the night yeshiva. His name was Reb David Blum. I still remember him. So this was in the 50s, this might say. I remember him from the 60s, gerade. It was tremendous nadvan. Rabbi Weissmadel once wrote a letter to him to thank him. And among the titles that he wrote, he says to him, Reb David Blum, Hanadvan Hagodel, and so on, Mechadish Chidushim Behilchis Tzedakah. He didn't mean Shach Taz. In the way that he gave Tzedakah, Mechadish Chidushim Behilchis Tzedakah. I would like to use that phrase when it comes to our Botzes HaTorah also. There are many, many rabbis and babis. The Baruch Hashem Ken Yirbu. Every Botzes HaTorah, every effort, rabbis, a tremendous, makes a tremendous Rosh Hashanah. But Rabbi Bol was Mechadish, Rabbi Isai, not simply a Botzes HaTorah, one of the greatest Marbitz HaTorah. Yes, he's the Marbitz Torah. He's the Marbitz Torah. All these shiurim, Rabbi, are credited to him. But a Mechadish Chidush Botzes HaTorah. Rabbi Bol's Mesiris Nefesh is a legendary and can be credited. Certainly that Shtakach Torah Yisrael. But I think another thing, I don't know how much the Olam knows, but Rabbi Bol himself is a Talmid Chochem Godel. What he does is he sacrifices mamish his own Torah for Abotzes HaTorah. Could be sitting alone at the base of Medrash, Rabbi Isai. Could be sitting, maybe he put out a sefer, married off a child not too long ago. Alumdish, a very chosh of a sefer. Very chosh of a sefer. I don't know where at the time to go through these sugyas, the new Birchas HaPeiros, the new Brachas, and so on. Makra of his own Torah for the sake of Abotzes HaTorah. The first time that I came, many, many years ago, tell you the truth, I never heard of Irgun Shiurai Torah at the time. It just started. He called me up to come. She come from Queens to come to Brooklyn. But Hashem, du hast 18 in Queens, auch, darf ich kommen to Brooklyn. He insisted, please, come. I came. Taxi on the way back. So Rabbi Bol comes into the taxi. I said, where are you going? Going to Queens. So, you know anybody in Queens? He says, no. So what are you going to Queens for? I want to speak over the shir. You know, I did speak over the shir. We were able to hear, not only he understood, you see the gewaltige, the starke Havone, the shakla v'tarya. So he came back, he went back to Queens and went back to Brooklyn again. But you saw the Ahavas HaTorah that he had, but not that, you saw the Koyach HaTorah that he had. And therefore, today in our time, I have to be under one does not have to be an intellectual or philosopher to reconcile that without Torah we have a bankrupt society. The 21st century that we're living in, look at the Yerid of society, the moral degradation. Torah today is not a luxury. You can't be a Yid without it. But today it's even more. Mekeni Zan Mensch without it. Look, Rabbi Isai, in the civilized world, those of all the academia, all the intellectual, look at the world, look at the private lives, look at the ashchos of their lives. Look at the hanog of their lives, look at the kind of families they have. Even presidents and so on, look at the children, what they are. I used to say many times, I used to say that Ayiru and Ashir is Nish Kayid. Yidafum Ashir. And therefore every child has to have the opportunity to learn Torah. So I said the following. We are not in the business, Dafke, Rabbi Isai, of having Goinim factory. If somebody had the kishon to be a Goin, Matoiv Manoim, he's a Gevalder Bal Kishon. Every child has to have the opportunity to be taken to a yeshiva and to learn Torah. Every child. Yemishiyeh. And the pshat is you have to understand. Because chinuch, Rabbi Isai, only means bring out the potential of that child. Don't set a goal that does not belong to him. But whatever the potential of that child is, that's the tachlis of chinuch to bring it out. And if you want to know what the shayrish of the word chinuch is, it's a chiddush, Rabbi Isai. I have not seen it. I believe the shayrish of the word chinuch is chen. Bring out that hidden chen of every child. Every child, Rabbi Isai, has a charm. Every child has his personality. Every child has his chen. And that's the tachlis of chinuch. Bring out that chen. And therefore, when we say in the davening, V'chol b'nayich limud Hashem, Al tikra b'nayich ele boynayich. Rabbi Isai, what do you mean don't read it b'nayich ele boynayich? It says b'nayich. What does it mean al tikra? Well, the Shlach Kodesh says wherever Chazal say al tikra means there was a kasha. You want to answer something. Du is auch du Akasha. V'chol bonaich limud Hashem. It says here very clearly that every child is able to learn Torah. Rabbi said, what about the shvache kids? What about the shvache kids? V'chol bonaich limud Hashem. What about the shvache kids? Come Chazal, I'll explain it to you. V'chol bonaich, kol is the rabbis, everybody. Kol bonaich limud Hashem. You know when it's possible? Al tikra bonaich, it's not going to happen to your children. Ela boy noich, you have to build them up. Build up every child. Every child can be built up to be a little bit more, to know a little bit more, to have a little bit more havas HaTorah. If you mekayim the boy noich, then you can have the bo noich. V'chol bonaich limud Hashem. Al tikra bonaich, it's not going to happen elo boy noich. So I'm Messiah, Rabbi Isai, the following. I say to you, when it comes down Chodesh Elul, the davening, we're going to say, among the many al-chaitz, we're going to say, al-chaitz shechetonu lefanecha bezilzil hoirim amoirim. Simple pshat means, we say to the boys, Zay Moichel, we were mezalzel on our parents. We didn't give them enough COVID. Zilzil hoirim amoirim, maybe we're mezalzel in our rabbeim, our malamdim. Zay Moichel. There's another pshat. You know we're saying the al-chait, not the talmidim and not the children. The parents and the malamdim are saying the al-chait. What are they saying? We're mezalzel in our role of parents. We gave up on a child. The moirim, the rabbeim, the malamdim are saying, we're mezalzel in our koyach of being mechanchim. We should have believed more in a child. We should have put in more effort. We should not have given up. The parents and the malamdim are saying that. They did not believe in the koyches, that they could have accomplished more, and they could have did a little bit more. So Amela, everybody who's come here today has a gewaldige schus. To have a gewaldige chelik in Abot Zatoyer Avinu Malkeinu Kozveinu B'Sefer Zechuis. Rabbi Yankel Galinsky used to come to us a lot. He said, "Amul gefreit Chazonish." So many times he says, a Yid comes to a Gevir and he asks for an adova. And the Gevir zot, Kim morgen, come tomorrow. Will it be better tomorrow? Will it be better tomorrow? You know what the Chazon Ish answered? The reason he says come back tomorrow, they put that answer in his mind. Why? Because when this particular person comes and asks for an adova, many times the Gevir does not have a schus min ha-shemayim. You have to have a schus to geben, Rabbi Isai. Na mein me get wenn me will. But darf man schus to geben. It's you talking that Gevir does not have the schus. Was ist am besten morgen? It's a Chazon Ish, hafle v'feile. By tomorrow, he will be davening noch 3 Shemoneh Esrei. He'll have a few more omens. He said, maybe that's the schus that he needs. Today not. Today doesn't have enough schus to give. So he says, come tomorrow. By tomorrow, noch gedaven noch 3 Shemoneh Esrei. So noch the schus. Avinu malkeinu kozveinu b'sefer zechuyos. Give us the schus to be able to give. There are many, many opportunities, but it's called what we say in America, missed opportunity, Rabbi Isai. And therefore, don't forget what the Tanya writes in Igeres HaKodesh. The Tanya writes, Ikves the Meshiche. What is the avodah? Tanya writes in Igeres HaKodesh, you can go up Simon Tes. The Ikves the Meshiche is avodas HaTzedakah. I, Chazal, say, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. You're not going to believe what he answers. Talmud Torah keneged kulam, ze hoye davke beyemeim. Amul is azoy geveim. Hand is tzedukah. Rabbi Yisrael, if you give tzedukah for Torah, you have both. You have cited Talmud Torah keneged kulam, and you have the avodas HaTzedakah, which that is the avodas hayoyim. That's the avodah beikes the Mashiach. The boy should helfen, als jeden Tag als Chistake zu geben, ma gewaltig heilig, na butzes HaTorah, Klich starker Torah mit Yisrael, zu Hashem alles und geholfen werden, mit Shefa Brucha Vatzluche, sind der Naches, mit Panusse, um den Koich zu geben, um den Schiss zu geben, in Aksivach, sie mit Teufel, im ganzen Kalles, so beim Herr, meine, oh nein. Amen.